Everybody, how we all hi, how we all doing, everybody? Let me see if I can move this camera along a bit. Trying to have more screens going at once. How y'all doing? Here I am again. I nearly forgot the time. My hair's actually still wet. Okay, so tonight I am going to talk about the menopause. And first of all, if you don't know who I am and you don't follow me already, I basically, obviously, you know my name, it's Zara Groves, because you can see it on my social media. But I've been training ladies now for nearly 28 years. So I've been working with women, either teaching fitness classes or training them. And over the years, I've evolved as I've got older and my clients have got older. And now my training is all about getting ladies fitter, getting them healthier, and working on their body confidence. And because the menopause was such a big shock to me, and I'll tell you about my story in a moment. But because of that, I've started studying all about it, so I again can help ladies go through it. So my story is when I was 49. Now, I've been teaching classes and standing on stages for that long. And I was sitting in my house one night and I thought, oh my God, I can't go to work tomorrow. Somebody's saying hi to me. I can't see the name without my glasses. Hi, how are you? So I was sitting. Oh my God, I can't go to class tomorrow. I can't stand in front of that. I can't stand on a stage in front of everybody. And then the other part of my brain was going, don't be so stupid. This is all you've ever done. And then I was like, okay, just see what you feel like when you wake up in the morning. Anyway, woke up in the morning. I was like, I can't go outside. I can't leave. And if anybody knows me, knows I'm a really confident person. You know, I just get on with things and just do them. And I was like, what is going on? What was going on? And I had to call into the gyms, and I can't remember what I said, because I didn't say that I was having this crazy anxiety, because I didn't really know what it was. Anyway, the next day, the exact same thing. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening to me? I am going crazy. I didn't leave the house. I stayed in my house. And then I called the doctors, and at the time there was a doctor in my surgery that was a really, really, really good doctor, but he wasn't in until the Thursday, and this had initially started happening on the Sunday night. So basically, I stayed in my house until the Thursday, did not leave my house at all for those days, which obviously pre-COVID was kind of unheard of to stay in. So I went to see the doctor and I told him what was happening to me. And I'm like, am I going crazy? What is going on? He said, no, I think you're perimenopausal. And I was like, what, me? I'm far too young, because I always think I'm so much younger than what I actually am. And anyway, because he said to me, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on beta blockers. And I'm going to put you on them for 7 days. And then after the 7 days, I want you to stop them and see what happens. So I went home, I did what he said. In the meantime, I started researching all about the perimenopause, because I wanted to know what was going on. And the minute I stopped those beta blockers, the anxiety kicked in again, and I didn't leave the house again for another couple of days until I got to see the doctor again, until I got another appointment with him. And it was crazy. I had this just overwhelming fear. There was no reason, there was no rhyme or reason, nothing about it. And when I'd done the research, I think it's called global anxiety, and it's something that can come for no reason. There's no trigger for it, just your hormones. So I'd done a lot of research at this point, and of course I was asking everybody that was my age or similar age to me, are they going through it, what's going on, what symptoms have they had? And then I'd made the decision straight away. I was going on HRT. I'd done the research into natural therapies. I'd done the research into the side effects. So I went, no, I'm not having this anxiety where it's making me not want to leave my house. So I went on HRT straight away. But what I did realize when I was doing all this research and I was asking everybody, the only ladies that seemed to know anything about it were the ladies that were actually going through it. The ladies that hadn't hit it yet didn't seem to know anything about it. And I was like, and I didn't either. So I was like, oh my God, other than having hot flushes and maybe a couple of mood swings, that's all I'd ever known about it. So I then decided that I was going to study it more. And so there's a lady called Dr. Louise Newson. She goes by the name of the menopause doctor. She's a specialist in the field. She's actually a GP, but she's a specialist in the field. So I have just been studying off her. I've actually downloaded one of her courses. I'm sort of doing that. The course is for sort of GPs and health professionals. So I've managed to get my hands on that. So I'm learning all about it, listening to her podcast constantly. And what I've learned is absolutely crazy. I just want to list off the symptoms that you can have. So the perimenopause starts average age 45 plus. Now, under 45, there's 1 in 1,000 women that will start their 1 in 100 women just over 40 that could start it, and in their 30s it's more like 1 in 1,000, but that's still quite a lot of people. And the perimenopause, what a lot of people thought the menopause was that one day you stopped your periods and that was it, and then you had some hot flushes and you had a bit of a mood swing. That's not the case. The perimenopause is the build up to the menopause. The menopause is when you've been 12 months without a period. You're in it then. You're done. Your symptoms are pretty kicking in on that build up, and that build up can be 10 years. I mean, the average age of the full menopause, where you've had no period for 12 months, is 51. So if you start 45, that's 6 years. That's 6 years worth of symptoms. And there's such a misconception about HRT because there was a study done 17 years ago, and even though that study's been retracted, the newspaper still reports about it, that it can increase if you take HRT. It used to derive from horses' urine. It doesn't anymore. It derives from yams, which are plants. And the study, what people don't realize, was done on ladies in their 60s. So they were pretty much on the other side of the menopause. Quite a lot of them were overweight. Quite a lot of them had a history of heart disease. So so it wasn't a varied group of ladies. And this study then hit the papers, and then everybody got scared because they thought it was going to increase their chances of breast cancer. And from what I've understood so far, it doesn't. For ladies, the risks of breast cancer are whether you're on HRT or not, because it's a natural thing. So what people seem to think is that HRT is a drug. It's not a drug. Us ladies are made up of loads of hormones, and basically one of our hormones are going to suddenly start to disappear, and we need to replace them. Really? And we need to replace them. We need to replace those hormones. It's not a drug. It's not a medication. If you have the patch or the cream, it's transdermal. So this yam, what's derived from a yam, this estrogen from a yam goes through your skin into your body and it replaces. So I just want to read out to you what the symptoms can be of menopause. Because so many ladies put down all these symptoms to something completely different. I'm tired, I'm stressed with the kids, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other. So the symptoms are hot flushes that we know about, low moods, anxiety, memory problems, brain fog, fatigue, recurrent headaches, migraines, muscle and joint pains, urinary symptoms, vaginal dryness, palpitations, itchy skin. Apparently it's been described like little spiders crawling all over, itchy tongues. The menopause can affect your heart, your bones, and your brains. So this would mean if you weren't on HRT, you've got a higher risk of getting heart disease, diabetes, and osteoporosis. So if you think that the biggest killer in women is heart disease now, it's overtaken everything else, the cancers, smoking, everything else, heart disease has taken over. So we don't want to increase our risk, we want to lower it. And the thing is that people seem to forget is we have estrogen receptors all over our body, all over our skin, inside our mouth, everywhere. So this is why things can go wrong everywhere on our bodies. So if ladies, so in your perimenopause stage, the easiest way to know something's kind of going in is your periods become a bit irregular, or they either come heavier or come lighter or come closer together or wider apart. There's something out of the norm. Obviously, if some ladies are on contraception, And contraception, some contraceptions mean you don't get a period at all. So obviously then it's a little bit harder to know whether you're getting these symptoms, because to know whether your periods are irregular because you're not actually getting them. But there is an app, and I'll post the link underneath these recordings, and it's this lady, Dr. Louise Newson's app, and it's called The Balance. And basically what you do is you download it onto your phone, and then you track all the things that are happening to you. So that if you need to go to the doctor, you go to the doctor and you go, right, I have got this, and this. I think I need HRT. Sadly, at the moment, as it stands, when you become a GP, there's actually no training on the menopause at all, which is pretty crazy considering 50% of the population are females, and that means every single woman is going to go through it. Whether you have lots of symptoms or no symptoms is you'll find out when you get there. So sometimes doctors, I know quite a lot of ladies that they've gone to the doctors, they've said their moods are low, they've said they're feeling really anxious, and they've been put on antidepressants. And it's not, I'm not saying some people don't need to go on antidepressants. I'm not saying that at all. They do have a place. But if you're kind of at the perimenopausal age, there's a good chance it's your estrogen, it's your hormone levels that are making you. So myself, exactly, for somebody that never gets anxious about anything, to be in the house too scared to leave, too scared to leave because I was so anxious. It was crazy. Hold on, I've got a message. Yeah, you have to prove, don't you? Yeah, definitely. So I just want to, so this now, because this has become a bit of a passion of mine to learn about it more, just to, not that I can prescribe anything to ladies whatsoever, but to try and guide you. There's some ladies that I'm currently training, and one lady had been put on antidepressants, and her doctor told her, she's 48, and her doctor said to her, you're too young for the perimenopause. I'm like, how could you be too young? There is actually no age limit on it. I mean, if you have something like a hysterectomy or you have your womb removed, then you get thrown into the menopause, whether you want to be in it or not. That's something different again. But even then, when that happens to ladies, quite often they're not told to. They're not told what's going to happen to them. They're told, okay, do you understand you're never going to have a baby again? But they're not actually told, you do realize that this now means you are going to go into the menopause because we've removed your womb and your ovaries. It's actually crazy. So I like to, and I guess, I know when I first had it happen to me, I didn't really want to talk about it, because as much as I think I'm still 34, I'm actually not. I'm 52 this year. And it was crazy. It was like, oh my God, this is admitting to the world that I'm now old. And that's why I didn't talk about it. And obviously now that I'm learned an awful lot more. Oh, thank you. Now that I'm talking about it a lot more, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? I'm glad I'm this age. I'm lucky to have got to this age. But and I find that when I tell people of the anxiety I had that made me housebound, people are shocked, because if you know me, you know the kind of personality I am, that most things don't fear me. You know what I mean? I can stand up and talk in front of a crowded room. So to not be able to leave my house is quite a crazy thing, really, isn't it? So it just shows. And I never suffered with my periods all of my life. I wasn't one of those girls that had terrible PMT or anything like that. I was quite luckily with that, really. So I just wanted to talk about this today, because I know it's a subject. I know it's getting talked about a little bit more now, but I just wanted to get out there for you ladies. If you're suffering from any of these symptoms, please, 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 please get yourself checked out. Because the other thing is, if you go through the other thing is, you can be on HRT for the rest of your life. Yeah, because it's natural. Remember, it's replacing your hormones. But the other thing is, if you get to the other side and you've gone through the menopause, that's it. You ain't getting those hormones in it. It's tough. It's like shop shut. It's not coming in. So I listened to an interview with a bone specialist, and he was saying that he can tell ladies. So say if I was to break my leg, he would be able to tell whether I was on HRT or not, because my bone density, if I wasn't, would be more like a crunchy bar. So I know people in their late 50s having hip replacements because they've got osteoporosis, because they haven't taken HRT, they haven't replaced those hormones, and then they've opened up to having osteoporosis. It's one of the biggest things in women over a certain age. So I'm not telling you all to go and do it. Obviously, I'm telling you to go and do your research, but please believe that if you have the transdermal one on you, the patch which you put on your hip or the cream that you put on here, it is from yams. It's a plant-based estrogen. It's not a chemical. It's a hormone replacing the one you're losing. So the perimenopause means that we're depleting in the hormone and we need to top it up. Oh, and another thing, ladies, that I never knew until I listened, because I've been listening to loads of specialists, a skin specialist. Did you know that when you get older and you start to deplete of your hormones, if you don't replace them, your jaw bone starts to shrink? And if your bone starts to shrink, that is when you start to get the jowls on your face. So if that's not an incentive to go and check it out, I actually take the tablet as well because that's what I was given first, and it worked perfectly. So it's a bit like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So yes, the only thing I've got to do is remember to take the goddamn thing. That is a little slight problem with me. I forget things. So what else have I written down here? Oh, and another thing as well, ladies, blood tests. If you are over the age of If you're under the age of 40, a blood test can determine your hormones. If you're between 40 to 45, then maybe a blood test. If you're over the age of 45, they say that a blood test is not worth it because your hormones at that age change daily. So you could go into the doctor's one day, have a blood test, and it would show that your hormones are normal. You could go in the very next day and your hormones could be out of sync. So the way to know is to gauge what's happening to your body, and this is what I was taking. Okay, cool. Someone just said their memory is getting better since taking HRT. So so the best way is to gauge what's happening to you. So it's things that are irregular, like speak to your husbands and your boyfriends. You know, if you've been with them for a long time, and have you suddenly gone from this kind of person to suddenly a bit of a snappy person, or a bit irritable, or is your sleep pattern out of whack? Because, you know, if these things are changing, it's down to the hormones going in. And then the other thing, ladies, if you are on HRT already, so HRT, if you've still got your womb, is estrogen and progesterone. If you haven't got your womb, it's only estrogen. But testosterone, some ladies need a top up of testosterone. Now, this one in the UK is not naturally prescribed. If you're in Australia, it is. And I actually have written down the name somewhere. So this is when, say you're on your HRT now, and you're still finding that you've got brain fog, your libido is really low. A lot of the time that's because you're lacking in testosterone, and you may need to get a cream. You can get it. It can be prescribed to you from your doctor, but you do have to pay for it because for some crazy reason it's not on our NHS at the moment. And the one in the UK is for men, but if you get the Australian one, which is something like Androcrem or something, where did I write it down? I'll post it in the comments as well. So ladies, there's lots of things going on. Unfortunately, ladies, we have all sorts going on, don't we? Our whole bloody lives. Puberty, pregnancy, and then menopause. And you know the most frustrating thing that I find now that I'm in the perimenopause stage is that I still actually am getting my periods. I'm like, okay, you know, if I'm going to go through this, at least get rid of them. You know, I've had them for long enough now. I agree, it's a magic pill. Apparently, in my mum's day, it was called the youth pill, the HRT tablet. So, have I written about everything in here? Now, have I told you about everything that I wrote down? Yeah, and the sad thing is that so many millions of ladies have got really good jobs, really high-powered jobs. You know, they're doing presentations and all this. They end up leaving their jobs because they feel like their mind's not working properly. They can't remember. They can't do this. They can't do that. It's really, really sad, really. And it's because they're not getting the right information. And unfortunately for us, there's not many menopause specialists in the country. And since COVID hit, as you know, to get a doctor's appointment now is like gold dust. So it does seem that you need to track your own symptoms. Especially if you do it on this app, it's just easier, isn't it? You then go into the doctors and go, right, this is happening to me, this and this. I'm in the perimenopause stage. I need HRT. And then it's a bit of a trial and error. Sometimes I've heard people where they've tried one patch, that one didn't work, but they tried a different patch and that did work. Some people have tried the patches, they don't work, and then they've taken the tablet. The same the other way around. So ladies, if you go and have one and it doesn't quite work for you, don't give up. It's like everything, it needs a bit of trial and error. It's the dosage. You might have a little bit too much for you, you might have a little bit too less little for you. So please don't give up on it. Wow, that's crazy. I'm just reading messages here. There's a lady saying that she'd been off work for 4 months. Oh my God. Yes, it does make us healthy. I mean, why wouldn't we want to take something? It's mad, isn't it? If you think you've got high blood pressure, they'll give you drugs. If you've got I can't even think of things. I mean, why do they want to put us on antidepressants straight away? Do you know what I mean? Apparently HRT only costs the NHS £4 a month. Is that what it is? They don't want to give us the cheap drug. They seem to want to prescribe all the other things. Diabetes, they'll quickly give you stuff. Whereas if this hormone replacement can help lower your risk of heart disease, osteoporosis, and diabetes, then surely that's a good thing for us, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's a good thing. That means we will be less likely to need the NHS for those related illnesses. Obviously, like everything, a healthy diet and exercise always helps, but that kind of helps with pretty much everything in life, really, doesn't it? All illnesses, all everything. Oh my God. So yeah, ladies, so those symptoms I read out to you, if you have got any of those going on and they're not normal, they're starting to come out of nowhere, you're over a certain age, you can actually go through the menopause a lot younger. You can go through the menopause in your 20s. There are cases where people go in them really, really young, but obviously they're a lot rarer. But once you're over the 40-year-old mark, and if things start changing for you, that's when you need to question it. Do you know what I mean? If you haven't moved house or changed your job or had some loss in your family or something like that, if there's nothing going on that should warrant you to have things, but then, if you've got things like itchy skin and memory problems, vaginal dryness. I even listened to a lady, and it was heartbreaking. For 3 years, so the skin of your vagina can, for some ladies, become so thin that it's so painful they can't sit down, they can't wear underwear. And one lady had suffered for 3 years not being able to sit down because she was in so much pain. Oh, well done. Yeah, Yazzie would love it, wouldn't she? And it was all because she was too scared to go to the doctors, because she'd thought that if she went on any kind of HRT, that she was going to be a high risk for breast cancer. And the crazy thing is there's even creams, like estrogen creams, that are localized, that don't actually go into your system. So you would put them in those areas to help them. And it's just that there's all this stuff out there to help us, but ladies are either too scared or just don't know, and they're not going to get the help. So, it's just, so this is why I really, really, really want to help people, because what happened to me was really scary and really horrible. Luckily, I had a really good doctor and it was sorted very, very quickly, because had I had a doctor that wanted to put me on antidepressants or something like that, or told me there was nothing wrong with me, or told me I was too young, that it couldn't possibly be happening to me, or like some doctors have said I know a friend where a doctor has told a friend, if you're still having your periods, you can't possibly be perimenopausal, which is absolute rubbish. Perimenopausal is that build up to the menopause. So I was lucky that I had such a good doctor, and within the 2 weeks, so actually 3 weeks, so a week staying in, week on the beta blockers, staying in again, then I was on HRT, and then within days I was back to my normal self, I couldn't tell any difference whatsoever that this was happening, that I was on it. You know what I mean? It was just, it's like taking the contraception, for me, it's like taking the contraception pill. You just take it every day. So if you've got any questions, ladies, because I know this is a sensitive subject and I know you're not going to want to write publicly. So if you've actually got any messages, or if you want to talk to me, or if you need any help, or if you're feeling that this could be happening to you, what I'm talking about, please send me a message and I'll do my best to help you in what I can. Like I said, I've been learning an awful lot with regards to this. I have to write my notes down because I don't retain a lot of some of the information, but I do know quite a lot about it now. So if you're having any issues, please just message me and I'll give you a phone call and I'll do my best to point you in the right direction. But definitely go onto your app store. I don't know, it's App Store for us on iPhones or it is on Android, and it's called Balance. Download it and you just basically fill in your own information and you can track everything that's going on in your life. So then you can, it's like keeping a record, keeping a diary, and then you can go to the doctors with it and go, look. So yes, ladies, send me messages, send me comments, and I hope that's been really helpful for you. And yeah, I just want to help us, because why should we suffer, ladies? We bloody well shouldn't. That's why. Oh dear, ladies, and just think, if you are having these symptoms now, it can change, it can reverse, it can go away. I promise. It might not happen overnight, but if you get I've heard of people where people have said that they were in this kind of really flat mode, and they felt almost like, they describe it like they were living their life in black and white, and then they went on HRT and everything came into color. And sometimes it happens really quickly, like within 4 or 5 days of getting the right medication, the right dosage. So please, ladies, if you're suffering with anything that I've mentioned, please get yourself checked out. And if you need to ask me any questions, please just send me some questions and I promise I'll answer them all to the best of my knowledge. All right, ladies, let me just check. Yeah, it does get better. It does get better. Honestly, I promise you. I promise it gets better. All right, ladies. So send me messages, and it's been really good to chat to you. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it's helped you. All right, love you lots. Bye. Oh God, trying to stop these things now. Oh, hang on, I've got messages. I'll respond to that message now. Bye, everybody on Instagram. What does that say on there? No, Ricardo, the men don't get the menopause. They don't go through it. So sorry on that one. All right then, everybody. I love you lots. Bye.